when we agreed to come on your show today, it was after this interview was recently published from my work that an Ohio marriage advocate is trying to publicize the Ohio laws, and I'm questioning if the divorce lawyers are actually in collusion. And to try to explain,
I'm not questioning
well,
that at all, but go
the
ahead.
headline of the article says I'm questioning it because
Right.
I'm actually in correspondence right now with the authorities at Cuyahoga County, that's Cleveland's divorce court, because I am proposing to them that they should educate the public, the parties, the people who didn't hire divorce lawyers, about these laws that either the divorce lawyers don't want people to know or they actually don't know them. And in Ohio, if both parties wanted a divorce, they do have a no fault available there. But from the research that I find, most divorces, like 2/3 of them, there's no serious grave problem. No one's committing adultery. No one's abusive. No one's addicted to dangerous drugs. The reasons these divorces are being requested is for emotional reasons. But when one spouse wants a divorce and the other spouse has total belief that the marriage is reconcilable, the legislation doesn't allow for divorce. What it does say is the only way you can get a no fault, if you can't prove the other person did these horrible things, is if you're separated for a number of months or if you agree that you're incompatible. And what happens is I interviewed a bunch of divorce lawyers to find out what's really going on in Cuyahoga County, what's going on. And they all told me, well, the divorces are given because of this incompatibility thing that Kevin talked about, or they're given because people are separate and apart for a year. But the piece that they don't tell you, in Ohio, it's a first-degree misdemeanor in the criminal code to abandon one's spouse. So if Susie is really disappointed with Tim, and Susie's sick of the way he leaves his socks on the floor, and she's emotionally distant from Tim, Susie does not have any ground for divorce in Ohio, because Tim doesn't want a divorce. Tim's a dedicated husband. He's just a normal guy. He leaves his socks on the floor. Susie's only way to legally get a divorce is to be separate and apart for a year. But if she goes and does that, she's committing a first-degree misdemeanor. And the law, when you look up the law, it says what's supposed to happen to someone who commits a first-degree misdemeanor. The judge's job is to try to reform the person. The reason for a penalty is to try to reform them to stop doing it. Because maybe it's better for Tim and Susie's children that Susie works on her relationship with her husband. So I'm trying to promote these laws that people don't know. So what I'm encouraging pastors of any religious faith to do is stand up more and say, we want to take more ownership and control and responsibility out of those people that we marry. Because in Ohio, and I'm thinking in all states, when you get married in any kind of Christian forum, if they're going along with the norm, the pastor is acting as an agent of the state to issue a civil divorce contract at the same time. I mean, they're acting as an agent of the state to issue a civil marriage contract at the same time. But the angle that Mary's Advocates is exploring is, if we're going to be doing that, well, then let's really make it a contract. And let's make the obligations of the contract what the people intend when they get married. So if someone enters a biblically based marriage, it's for life, it's good times and bad, they're committing to work with each other. If something does something serious like adultery or is dangerous or abusive, that's a reason for separation. But you don't throw in the towel. So let's have people who have biblically based principles making these determinations about what kind of just separations would ever occur when there even needs to be a separation. And when there's no need for a separation, and if one wants to abandon, well, then let the innocent party control how things get negotiated. So that the abandoner, if he's so miserable, let him go live above his girlfriend's garage. You know, and if he wants to go commit adultery out there, but don't let him take the kids away and scandalize them and let them think that abandoning a marriage is normal. I'm trying to encourage people of all faiths who have biblical-based understanding of marriage to think along these lines, that we don't have to just cave and give in to this no-fault divorce stuff.